Hey everybody, welcome to the video and welcome to Goodwill. Here we are. I think you guys are now familiar with some of the Goodwills I go to pretty regularly. Maybe not on a personal basis, but at least visually here. This was the Goodwill that was recently remodeled. Generally one of the better Goodwills to go to in our area. Everything's priced well. Usually a pretty good inventory. On the days we usually come. Now today's a Thursday, so just for reference, you can kind of see what this Goodwill, maybe this Goodwill, as far as supply and stuff, is kind of similar to Goodwills in your area. And let's see what we can pick up here to resell on eBay. First stop is always over here at the glass, which this person had the same idea. I've been thinking about buying that mannequin body. It's for clothing, more for like if you make clothing, stitching and stuff. It'll kind of help you get the right sizing for if you need to make multiple sizes for different people. I know they can go for pretty good money, but that wouldn't be something I would want to sell online or eBay. Nothing I would want to ship out. Don't really keep boxes in stock of that size, and it's not something that's really that I don't think is fun to sell. Again, with that KitchenAid, there's probably money to be made in those KitchenAid mixers. I don't usually pick up the mixers because of the weight and the size, the shipping. But for the right price, I mean, it could definitely be a good flip. Because, I mean, you need to take into account what the shipping is going to be, and is someone going to be willing to pay that shipping? What kind of a deal are you offering that person to justify them to pay the amount of shipping that's going to cost to get it to them? So when it comes to KitchenAid stuff, I tend to deal more with the accessories as opposed to the actual machines. And the mixers are pretty much the where the money's at when it comes to the KitchenAid stuff. There's definitely a KitchenAid makes other things, other items, other types of mixers, like handheld mixers, and depending on the price, excuse me, could be a good sell. Coming over here, check out the purses. However, I'm slowly leaning towards maybe doing the purses again towards the end of my toward the end of my rotation or walkthrough of the Goodwill sourcing mission here at the Goodwill. Just because, like I said, I have my inventory on purses is pretty high right now, so I want to get it back down. My mugs are finally starting to go down. My mug inventory is going down, so I have more space for mugs. Am I going to be buying a lot more mugs? It depends. They aren't really selling for the profit margin that I'm looking for. So, I mean, if it's a really good mug, and you've seen some mugs in my videos that you should be picking up, I'm going to pick them up. But in this case, I think on this trip, I might pick up a mug. You'll see it in the video. But I will try to stay away from mugs, actually. Let's see here. And purses are great. People will pay up for purses for the right brands, the right styles. People will pay up for purses. It's a fashion accessory as well as a utility. I threw this in the cart. It's a Michael Kors. It was a kind of a cool crossbody, a little dirty on the back, and I didn't like the price. But I'm gonna put it in the cart and just kind of carry it around. It was a nice little crossbody. A little bit of a more of a fashion statement type of purse because it has those they're real zippers, but like faux zippers. It's more of a design than actual use. This woman here just abandoned the cart. I wasn't sure if she was going to come back or what, or I end up just pushing it out of the way so that way I can go through these wallets. So I do like to source wallets. Just because they're easy shippers, they're not really breakable. I mean, you have to kind of be careful with the hardware. I do bubble wrap it, send it in a bubble mailer. Depending upon what type of style. If it's a higher end wallet, I will wrap it in bubble wrap first before I put it in the bubble mailer. If it's just a $20-$30 wallet, I generally won't. I'll just throw it in the bubble mailer, and pretty good, and they'll ship well. I mean, with no issues. And now when it comes to bubble mailers, I tend to get just 3 different sizes. However, I'm thinking of converting my smaller size. Let me grab one really quick here. Actually, it doesn't say the size on it, but I get 9 by I get 9 by. None of these have the dimensions on it. Look at my past orders here. These are the bubble mailers that I personally buy and keep in stock at all times. They are... And 2 of them are just a generic color. Just, that orangey yellow color. 9.5 by 14.5. Pretty standard size. Fits most items, most things that are, fairly unbreakable. I mean, I do ship some glassware in those if it's small and I can bubble wrap it pretty well and it sells for a good price. And then the other ones I get are, which are come in handy, especially for newer items that are already boxed and maybe have cushioning or styrofoam on the inside. 14.25 inch by 20 inches. Those come in handy a lot. For those, just like I said, just for those items that you buy, they're already in a box, or they're brand new in a box. Those are great to throw them in. If the box size fits, obviously, like smaller boxes. Some action figures I'll put in there as well too. Now, with action figures, if they're boxed up already, brand new, you have to be careful when you're using bubble mailers. You want to use a little bit more of a heavier duty one. And you want to make sure you bubble wrap it before you put it inside the actual envelope. Just because you don't want any damage to the bubble. People get, kind of get hung up on the damage to the bubble. And I get it. I'm a collector too. I don't want, if I'm buying them new, I don't want, creases or damage to the bubble if it's an action figure. So, but I will use those, and they do really well with action figures. As a matter of fact, those large 14 by 20, they actually, I've seen smaller boxes I put action figures in just get crushed, and then the action figure, just gets crushed inside. But these bubble mailers act almost like a pillow. I recommend the ones from Uline. That's my recommendation. But those bubble mailers, and you throw a little bit of bubble wrap around it, acts like just like a giant pillow. I mean, and everything arrives nice and safe. The other size I get, which is the size I'm thinking of changing up, is, I have the measuring tape right there. What are these? Total height after it's been sealed is like 7. It's like 7.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So it's a smaller bubble mailer. This is good for like Lego minifigures. Jewelry goes in here. But I am thinking of changing it because just because I do have some things that are a little bit bigger than this thing, and I kind of want that little bit of extra space. It's not going to change the overall weight of the item, but it'll kind of help with what I'm shipping out. And so better just to, stick to when it comes to bubble mailers, stick to like a one size, especially when you're first starting out. I would stick to like just a generic size. Make sure you're buying items that can go in them, and don't get crazy buying all kinds of different sizes, because it's going to cost you a lot of money. You're going to waste a lot of money trying to, chase down the right size for the right items that you're selling. Unless you're just getting free boxes. But if you're trying to buy different size boxes, if you're going, to local, like a Postal Annex, U-Haul, center locally, Target, Walmart. You're going to waste too much money on, not to mention the cost of gas or whatever to get there, but you're just going to waste too much money spending on these shipping supplies. The cheapest way to get shipping supplies is in bulk. Amazon, I mean, if you don't want to go through Uline, maybe it's too expensive for you right at this moment. Not sure as far as where I live, there's a shipping or a warehouse in Reno, and it gets here next day. I order it, boom, it's here next day. As long as you order it before like 12 noon is the cutoff. But Amazon does well too. I do get supplies from Amazon. Sometimes they do offer better pricing on certain shipping supplies. Buying them in bulk ahead of time is the way to go. Having everything, having all the sizes that you need beforehand and sourcing items that will fit into those sizes. Don't go chasing down weird size boxes, especially if you're just starting out or if you're new. You'll end up paying way too much for shipping, and you don't have to. Okay, enough about shipping. We're back in it. We're here. There's the mugs. Look at the mugs. I don't know why. I don't know if other people feel the same way. Comment down below. I don't know. Do you get like hooked on mugs? I collect Deneen pottery mugs. But I really don't collect. I mean, I do like mugs, and sometimes I'll throw some cool mugs that are in my, that I find at Goodwill and stuff. I'm going on ranting here about things, and I'm not telling you when I put it in my cart, which I'm going to put back right now. I'm going to put it back. It's a Nintendo. There were some Nintendo controllers for the what is it? The Wii system. And there were some. They look special edition ones, but they're not. They don't sell for that much, and they're asking quite a bit for them.
Controller.
So I'm definitely gonna put those back. The PS3 motion controller, I think they were $16, which is a little bit too much for those controllers. But definitely be on the lookout for controller. I mean, accessories for gaming consoles do well. The consoles not so much. But the accessories do well, especially like the special edition versions do well. These ones here were just priced a little bit too high, and it wasn't going to be the profit margin that I really wanted. So also too, I mean, gaming stuff is another thing you'll see a lot of. You'll see a lot of people online, on YouTube, influencers, whoever, buying gaming collections, buying gaming supplies, accessories, buying games. You really have to do your homework and not necessarily rely so much on what you see, because a lot of it, most of it, isn't worth the price that you're going to pay for it. If gaming stuff, for me, I would rather be in the games themselves because they're easy to ship, and technically they will have a little bit more of a higher value. When it comes to accessories, generally I want to look for the special edition ones or anything brand new. There's some Pyrex stuff. But I'm going to scan the pattern to see if it's worth anything. Oh, and then that keyboard I have in there. It was a really cool keyboard. The only problem is it's a wireless keyboard. I would have bought it, but it doesn't have the dongle. So, not worth very much if it doesn't have the dongle and you can't use it. And I don't really know if you can get away without using a dongle with that keyboard. So I'm not going to go through the headache of trying to figure it out and waste too much time. Checking out this pattern here. You got to check out the pattern on Pyrex. Not all Pyrex is necessarily created equal. Generally, the older ones, like the gooseberry color, there's one like a mushroom, like fairy garden style that I know of right off the top of my head that I know of. Recently that I picked up and sold. Bunch of I don't really look at it now, but that autumn leaf fall type setup there with the bowls and the plates. I forget what the name of it is, and I think I'd come back here in another video and I'll show you guys what the actual name is, but they're not really worth the price. You have to pay $1 or $2 for them, so if you find them at a garage sale or anything, a pickup. Goodwill had them priced up and priced individually, so not worth it. Here's a mug. I'm definitely going to pick this one up. It's Disneyland, of course. California Adventure, Tower of Terror, which is no longer called the Tower of Terror. It is called Mission Breakout, Guardians of the Galaxy. And just a cool mug. It's embossed. It's got all the major characters on there. So I think it'll do pretty well. I couldn't find its exact design. It does have a chip in the glaze towards the bottom, but it doesn't really affect the overall appearance of the... It's not even like a chip into the actual like ceramic. So I think it'll do well. I think it'll go for $25 to $30. I priced it at $30 already in my store. And we'll see what happens on it. But I'm being very picky on mugs right now because I don't want to get into a situation where my storage for mugs just gets overwhelming and they're not moving. Finally, getting into the toy section here. We're looking at the plush. Now, last year, we were finding some great plush here. At this Goodwill specifically, like gaming, computer gaming, as well as PlayStation stuff, gaming plush. And I used to come straight to the toy section and look at the plush because we kept finding them there. However, as of late, it's been pretty dry when it comes to plush, so I haven't, I've come to it, towards the end. I do like to look at the toy section just because it's one of my specialties. This right here. All right. I was waiting for this. This right here is a ledger USB. It's for cryptocurrency. It's like a wallet for storing your cryptocurrency. And if it was brand new, it's worth quite a bit. And it's worth quite a bit. Probably about, probably about $50, $60 or so for these digital wallets. I didn't comp it, but I'll have to double check what the comps are currently going for. But it could potentially have cryptocurrency on it if it was in there. So now I'm kind of looking around, seeing, is this in here? However, usually there's a password lock or it's encrypted, and accessing it would be pretty hard. Not impossible, but hard. Anything digital is, anything, online or digital can be accessed. It's just a matter of how long you're willing to how long you want to take to get it. But if it was new, it would have been a good score. If it maybe had Bitcoin on it, if it was there and I could access it, hey, that's a big score. But it wasn't there, and I'm still kind of searching to see if it's around. Maybe it fell out. My guess is either someone donated just the box. They just donate the box. Or someone already took it and pocketed it and left the box. Here is something I'm definitely going to pick up. There's no sold comps on this at all. It's a fanny pack. It's retro, 80s, 90s. And the reason why I'm picking it up is because it has the advertisements there. Primarily of Pac Bell. And I don't know if Pac Bell was nationwide or what, but when I was a kid and you had a home phone, it was Pacific Bell. And I don't know, I don't even think Pacific Bell's around anymore. But I picked it up because it reminded me of, childhood, having a home phone at home, dial-up internet. And I thought it was pretty cool, just Pacific Bell, and I'm hoping, someone out there will like it too. It is a fanny pack. It's got a retro style to it, 90s, 80s, which, people are into, and those are the kind of keywords I'm going to use, like retro, 90s, fanny pack, waist pack, blue, Pac Bell, of course, vintage. You got to get your keywords in order, so that way people can find your items. Keywords are very important. You can look them up too. What you should be using. Look at recent solds. Look what people are selling stuff for. Look what kind of wording they're using. What they're using in their titles or descriptions. It'll help you a lot. Title structure will also help you a lot too. Please do not use emojis in your titles. Descriptions, it might be okay getting away with in your descriptions. I don't mind in the descriptions, but in your title, you have such limited space. You don't want to waste it on even. Who's searching for emojis? Is there anybody that uses an emoji to search for an item on eBay? So please just make your titles clear, concise, have the appropriate keywords of what the item is to target that buyer. And usually what I'll do is I'll have, first of all, is it vintage or not? And I'll have vintage in there. Then second, I'll have the brand. What's the brand? Is it Sony? Is it Hasbro? What is it? And then what is the item? What exactly is it? Is it a tape recorder? Is it a action figure? Then you have action figure, and then you would continue on with, action figure of what? Or tape recorder that does, tape recorder with how much memory or what colors. So, very important. Titles are very important for finding items and having the appropriate keywords in them as well. Still searching. The woman here, she wasn't moving. She was kind of hanging out in this area. And so I'm trying to get through so I can see other stuff here. Vineyard Vine. Now, I was kind of surprised by this. I think even in the recap, I had yet to really dive deep into this. I was just searching Vineyard Vine ties, which used is going to go for like about $30 or $40. Just a regular tie. I mean, brand new, it's going to go for like $30 or $40. Used, 15 to 20-ish or so. Probably more like $15 used. But this one was a Pebble Beach custom tie, and I was finding some Pebble Beach ones that were going for close to about $100, like $80, $100. Those were used, but those ones were more like they were kind of branded Rolex, like a golfing, like they sponsored a golfing event or something. This one here says Coach's Classics, and I'm not familiar with tournaments or stuff that happen. I do live on the same coast as Pebble Beach, but I posted it for $150, and I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably throw it up in a short once it sells, and hopefully it sells for $100. We'll see how it goes. ET. I'll go over a little more of the recap. It's some ET games. They're sealed. I'm gonna pick one up for myself for sure. I'm not gonna take both of them, but I'm gonna comp them really quick. But I was kind of wanting it just to play with our family. Hats. This is where they kind of store their hats. Yahoo notebook. It looks unused. Definitely thought about picking it up, but this woman just won't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad, but I'm just kind of like, I want to see in this area that she's right there. I couldn't get in there. She was just blocking the whole section there, that little section, and I was like, oh, I finally give up. I'm like, oh well. I don't know if she was just hanging out there on purpose, trying to keep me from looking, or I don't know. But it was kind of, I wanted to I gave you enough time to look, hoping let's move along. I want to look too. Bunch of Pampers there. But that's kind of gonna do it for this trip. I think she found this two of these. They weren't all the same, so yeah, that's gonna kind of do it for this trip. Just a short trip. Nothing too wild here. Well, I mean, turns out that something's gonna be wild. So in the recap, I don't really mention it about the tie, but I'm doing this voiceover after I already did the recap, so it's a good tie. We'll see. But here comes the recap of everything. Okay, welcome to the recap, everybody. And today we have a small haul. Nothing crazy here.
Nothing we're going to get rich off of, but it'll be good product for the store to add into our store, to add into our daily listing routine. And with eBay, you do have to list daily. I don't know about other platforms such as Poshmark and Mercari, but with eBay, you do have to list every day. And it kind of shows eBay or the algorithm that they use that you're active with your store, that you're an active store owner, basically. And you're constantly trying to put product out there that people want and will want to purchase, because the way eBay makes money is if people are purchasing on their website. And the people that are putting stuff on their website are people like me, people like you guys watching this video, other resellers, other people that maybe aren't reseller, maybe they're more retail sellers. So people need to be buying in order for eBay to make money. And hopefully you're making money too. eBay does take a small percentage. On the high end, I think it's about 12% on the high end. And then depending upon, if you're a top-rated seller, if you offer, a one-day turnaround, you get discounts on the, on the percentage that they take. So there are those. It's all in there. You definitely read about it. I'm probably not the best at explaining those types of things, but what I am good at is finding products that make you profit on there. So what we have here, we have a game, which I'm probably not going to resell. I'm not 100% sure even if it's a good buy, but my plan was to keep it. We got a fanny pack, a tie, and a mug. So the mug, the reason why I bought the mug, first of all, it's Disneyland. It's vintage. And how do I know it's vintage? I didn't really remove the tag. I didn't see if maybe there was a date on there, but this is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and the Tower of Terror is no longer there. It is the Guardians of the Galaxy Disney California Adventure, and, well, maybe that doesn't necessarily mean it's vintage, because technically vintage means 20 years older, 20 years old or more, then it means vintage, and I forget who actually set that standard, but nonetheless, this is an old mug because it has the old ride name on it. California Adventure is where the ride is located. It is now Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is in Anaheim, California, at the Disneyland Park there. Pretty cool mug, and it's all embossed, so it's all raised there. Just a really cool Mickey mug, and I couldn't find the exact mug, but it's probably going to be a $20 to $25 mug, which is good for mugs, because generally mugs are not really good sellers unless they're just, you've seen some of my videos with some of the mugs I picked up, and I'm only picking up mugs that'll get me a good profit. And this mug, I think, will definitely get me a good profit here. So, and luckily the mugs that I am selling are, we're making good money on those mugs. Because mugs, generally, when you ship them out, they're going to be two pounds. When you include the packaging material and everything for them, you also got to make sure they're not going to break on the way because it's a fragile item. So currently, that's going to cost you about $10. I think it's $9.88 to ship this out. And how many people do you know are going to spend almost $10 to get a mug shipped to them? So it's got to be a pretty special mug, and I think this is a pretty good mug here. First of all, being Disney. Second of all, being the old ride name. And look at that. I mean, just a cool graphic on that. So that should be pretty good. That should bring a pretty good profit there. Moving on to the game really quick, because the game I'm not going to resell. I'm definitely going to keep it. It is brand new, sealed, and it was $5.99, so not a bad price. The problem was, look at the figures that are in there too. That's pretty cool. The problem I had was there was a bunch listed. There was a whole bunch listed and not much sold. The ones that were sold, like the new ones, I think there was one for like really cheap, like $4.99. Another one was right around $16. But then there was a used one that sold for $20. I mean, kind of strange why a used one would sell for $20. And then there was a bunch listed, like over 50 listed currently. So the sell-through rate was pretty bad. I mean, it was bad. It wasn't pretty bad. It was bad. And, you know, this E.T., I mean, pretty popular. It's Funko. I could have probably bought it and just stuck it in the store. It was a low enough price to where I wouldn't mind just keeping it, in storage, waiting for a buyer. But right now, I'm really looking for items that can move pretty quick. But I don't know. I mean, let me know what you guys think. Would you guys have picked up the other one and stuck it in your store? Put it up for sale somewhere, wherever you sell at. $6.90. I mean, I think $6.99 is a really good deal. It was what, $29.99 in originally in Target, marked down to $14.99. Either way, I'm going to keep this. E.T. from my childhood. I love the movie. Then the other two things here, a tie, and the reason why I bought this tie, I wouldn't normally buy a tie, but it had the box. It was still in the box. I'm not sure. Is that golfing? I don't know if you need a whistle in golf, but it has like the little golf tees. I think that's a golf ball, I think. But it's still new in there. It has a tag. Has the original tag and everything. So this will be anywhere from $20 to $40 according to the comps, and I got it for $6. Hopefully it's more towards the $40 range. Either way, we should make some money on that, but that's a nice Vineyard Vines. Definitely a brand to look out for. It's a more premium brand. They make all kinds of clothing, jackets, jackets, pants, polo shirts. The polo shirts and the shirts and the clothing, depending upon how much you buy it for, to me, I mean, if you're getting it at the bins, like going to the Goodwill bins and finding this, might be a good deal. But for me, they just don't have a high enough resale price for me to pick it up. And I'm not really that much of a clothing guy, but that is some clothing. So the tie, I think the tie is great, especially because it's in the package. Used, the ties are probably about $15. So if it was used without the box, I definitely would not be picking it up for $6. But because it was in the box, because it was brand new, we're going to pick it up, hopefully closer towards $40 on that, hopefully. Then I picked this up, no sold comps, no sell-through rate. We have no idea potentially what this will go for. I think this might be a $30 fanny pack is my guess. $4.69. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this is vintage. This is vintage old. This is from my childhood. How do I know that? Is Pac Bell. Pacific Bell was an old phone company. And they did all the... I don't even know. I don't think they're still around. But they did all the landlines. So if you had a phone at home... at least in California, I don't know about other parts of the country, you would use Pacific Bell. They were pretty much the only one. So I kind of like that. It's kind of old. It's vintage. It's not used. I don't even think it's used. I think it was probably sitting somewhere. It may have been like a giveaway because it has all kinds of different other company names on here. Nortel, Telecom. I'm familiar with them. I'm not really familiar with Sonet Networks. They might not be around anymore. But Pacific Bell, I'm definitely aware of that. And it's a very recognizable name, at least in California. I don't know. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know if you guys are familiar with Pacific Bell. But that was from my childhood. And I think this will do pretty well. I think it's a $30 fanny pack. We'll see. And hopefully I'll update you guys. Hopefully at least in a YouTube short, I'll be able to update you guys on what that goes for. But... small haul, we're going to add it into the store, combined with the previous video. We're looking pretty good. We're looking, we're probably up over $100 now in profit. And, adding that to all the other stuff that they're in my store right now, we should be making some good money here. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions, comments, if you guys see anything in the video that I should have picked up, please let me know. I appreciate all the new subscribers. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you guys like this content? Do you guys like the format I'm doing? Let me know. Thumbs up is appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you like what you're seeing. And drop a comment. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys in the next one.